Okay, in this presentation what we're going to look at is ggplot2. I'm using base R really because I just think it's easiest to read from YouTube. So you can use what you like, but I'm just using it because I think it's just easier to read here. Anyway, what we're going to look at is univariate data, and there's two types of geoms that in particular I'm interested in right now. Geom histogram and geom freq poly, which is frequency polygon. It essentially sort of conveys the same sort of information as a histogram. It's a line plot. Okay, so first off we load up ggplot2. Okay, grand, and we're going to work with a data set called diamonds. So let's have a look at diamonds. Data diamonds. It's an inbuilt data set that comes with ggplot2, so you don't have to load it up or anything like that. Let's just have a quick look at it. Okay, so that's it there. The main things we're looking at there is just the variable types we have. That's really what I'm interested in right now. Caret, cut, color, clarity, depth, table, price, and so on. Just for the first few exercises, what I'm going to look at is the cut variable and the price variable. Okay, so cut is a I think it is, yeah, it's a factor. Okay, so it's a categorical variable. Okay, and the second, the price is a numeric variable. Okay, so far so good. Now, so this is the important thing actually, and it's almost a bit cheeky me doing a video just to make you do this. Okay, but just bear with me, because you know, how do you learn about ggplot2? Because it seems like there's a lot to learn. Not really, but what you should do to when you do want to learn it is how to just make the best use of the resources you have already. Okay, so what happens is I've just, like, you just on screen there, it just popped up there a second ago. And what happened here is I just typed in help geom histogram, okay, and the help file pops up. So I'll just bring the help file into shot there, okay, and that is the help file. And you know, so that's great. I'll leave it at 125. So what does that do for us? Well, if you go down here to the bottom, loads of examples. Okay, so I've done some of these already in previous videos where I just actually talked about it a bit more in depth, but I'm going to try and sort of discuss the more advanced ones here now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, like, so rather than stacking histograms, it's easier to compute frequency polygons. So what we're doing here is we're giving a steer to just use frequency polygons instead of histograms. Okay, just because, like, I mean, we all learn about histograms when we do statistics 101 in college, but you know, frequency polygons are good as well. I'll just put up the first one here anyway. So what we have here is I'm going to have to toggle back and forth now between screens, okay, or between views here, so it's going to be a slightly bit annoying, but just bear with me. This is a histogram of price, okay, and I think the bin width is 500 or something like that. Okay, and so what happens is that each column is broken up into the proportionately by each category. Okay, so we have the ideal, the premium, the very good, the good, and the fair up at the top. Okay, and that's essentially it's stacked as well, as what that was called said earlier. If you just read the comment, it said it's stacked polygon is what we're looking at here. Essentially the gist of it is, I just think there's first off, the palette is not good. Okay, I don't think it works here. But secondly, about changing the palettes, that's a sort of common thing to all of ggplot. So I'm not actually going to talk about palettes so much in this video. But actually, the other thing is that there's probably just too many categories. So if there's 2 or 3 categories, a stacked plot might be okay. Okay, It's just, well, it could be okay. It's just that there seems to be too many categories of that we're looking at in each column. So what is suggested there in the rather than stacking histograms, it's easier to compare frequency polygons. So what we get here is the other option here is color equals cut. Okay, got a bit of a clink there. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so but actually, just before I go on to that, it is price is the numeric variable. Okay, and cut is a categorical variable, and fill is actually how each column is filled up. Okay, so it's filled up proportionately by the cut. Okay, now, so here we have the geom poly, or so the geom freak poly. So it's not a histogram now; it's a polygon, frequency polygon. Okay, rather than fill, we are going for color equals cut. So essentially, let's see what happens here. So essentially what we have here is a set of lines. Just bear with me. Oops, wrong one. A set of lines. I could probably have made it a bit thicker there, but like we'll just go with it anyway. So it's the information is sort of like the that's a little bit annoying. The information is very similar to that of histograms. Okay, but obviously it's just a sort of a set of line, a line just connecting a whole bunch of points. Okay, but it does give you the same sort of information, how much the proportionality of each one. So for example, I think that's ideal. I'm not sure which one this is. I think this is fair actually. That the fairs are, there's loads of them. Okay, and there seems to be lots and lots of fairs in our fair cut diamonds, but the price of them seems to be quite low. Okay, whereas the good, which is the little green one here, there's not a lot of any, but the price is more sort of spread out across the range of values there. There's sort of like there's a sort of a more spread in terms of price. Now, not like it tapers down. They all taper down. Okay, and this one here is. I think that might be fair. That one might be ideal. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't matter. It just gives you able to sort of tell the distribution of all 5 categories of cut much more easily. So that's great. Now, so let's just have a look at a few more of these. To make it easier to compare distributions with different counts, put density on the y-axis instead of the default count. Okay, so what's going on here is we add in this element here, density. Okay, so it's the same as before. We're just adding in extra arguments. Now, really, actually, I think the point of what we're getting at here is essentially this is the density is just sort of the proportion, essentially. The rough, it's just a sort of a variation on the last one, really, to be honest, which is just sort of the sort of in terms of proportions of the overall total. It's all relative frequency rather than actual frequency. Okay, it's a sort of to combat the disparity in the various count sizes. That's it, really. Like, so anyway, the point is actually really what I'm getting at here now is just that there's a load of information that you can get down here. Okay, for looking at for looking at for learning about ggplot and learning about the commands. That's it. We'll leave it there.